ready?
We ready. All right. Hello and welcome to The Industry is Doom. I am Michaela Gorman.
Also, I am Blake Hunsley.
And today we are... Okay, we're going to launch right into this to try to keep it under 2 hours.
All of the luck, listeners.
None of the hope.
None.
So you've got a great local story from Halifax to talk about.
I have a couple. Which one are you alluding to first?
Dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice.
Dealer wants a doula.
Doula.
Kelly Carrington. I just got a message. I like this story because I just heard about this about 2 minutes ago. Got a message from my sister. Family man in the coast. Even family man. This is a great story. This is about Kelly Carrington. He's Nova Scotia's only male doula. You look up what a doula is. They're really helpful during childbirth, and that's as much of a definition as I'm willing to venture into.
Well, midwife plus. But very, very plus. Lots of plus.
I don't even... Yeah? But... comment below.
Yeah.
Let us know. But, no, it's a great story. I have heard ad nauseum just so much about Kelly Carrington and all super positive things. He... I don't think we can use the word delivered with a doula, but essentially helped catch my sudden arrival niece during, sudden arrival at home birth. Apparently he basically, was there calming imminent mother-to-be, who was biting his shoulder pretty hard while giving birth, apparently. And not only did he forgive her for the mild bodily injury, but just and not just during childbirth at all times. But niece arrived safely. He was there for a ton before, and much more importantly, from what I gather, a ton afterwards, and has just been like, it's just nonstop what I hear. So whenever anyone, you hear people just being like, crunchy granola, what's a doula? And I'm just like, And now I would tempted to be like, just go read that article in the Coast, except that, I can't take anything with a straight face, especially when it's any media ever, but also when it's the Coast. Just because it's local. No, but the line, what was it? It was either who cares or what does it matter what his gender is, and this is mid a story that's all about, like, how big and broad and manly he is, and how he drinks beer and woodworks with his kids, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, like, dude is pretty manly and he's pretty great. And like the very intro of this is that Kelly Carrington is a role model for a new and better masculinity. Well, like, yeah, duh, obviously he is. He's like, a good dad and like a caring person and a talented professional who just, tends to be really helpful in the right moments when women in particular really need him. So yes, that's all very true. But I did have a lot of enjoyment at the, what does it matter? Who cares what his gender is? Like, obviously we all do because it's interesting. That's what makes the story interesting.
Yeah, you wouldn't have this on the cover if it wasn't.
No, if it was like, the province is like 400th female doula, which is probably, it's probably closer to like, like 13th or 30th female doula.
I was actually thinking the exact same number, like 13th. So I think that at some point we both knew that there were 12 doulas in Nova Scotia. Mm-hmm.
So, like, inevitable, just me, sarcasm aside, just, worth a bit of a long read, but worth it, like, and knowing the backstory, having, the nice, I didn't get to have childbirth pains or even be there for all the biting and screaming, just the crying and screaming afterwards, all good things I hear, all very reflected in this, like, just, apparently, like, very solidly helpful.
Yeah. Well, that, like...
And that's, what better definition do you want of masculinity than, like, solidly helpful? I would add quiet. Like, that would be nice. I'm obviously not claiming to be super masculine, but, like, God, all of my fantasies about super manly men, they're not talking all the time.
I think the word is stoic.
Yeah. Oh, stoic. God. Like a stoic lumberjack? Damn. Yeah.
Oh, going for the Spartan.
Who looks like Paul Ryan, except only from the neck up.
Oh, God.
Because otherwise he's teen beat pose.
Chicken leg.
Teen beat pose with pump and iron. Bad. Oh my God, we're getting into segment 2.
Yeah, that was very good. So yes, some excellent local reporting, and then some complete destruction of available news.
If you're gonna go so far without having taken the time to extremely read it closely at either, let's say it's by Fadila Chater.
Fadila. I do not know them.
I don't. But it's the smallest town in the world, and Chaters have a meat market in the neighborhood.
My God,
so
you're right.
I wonder, same family? Well, good meat, good. I don't want to say journalistic meat. It's kind of a feel good story, but it's a nice feel good story. Like I do feel good. Thanks, Fadila. I hope.
Sorry if we mispronounced her name. Now on to some feel like shit.
Are we on to this one that opens with shit?
We are.
This all feels like shit.
Contamination.
This feels like extreme shit.
Oh my God! So
I hate this.
So the Metro, which is it's available in almost every English-speaking country, like some variation of it. It's that green free paper that you see. You can get it in the States. You can get it in England.
I believe you can get it in Quebec.
Yeah, you can get it in Quebec. You can get it in Canada. It's always been just that free daily paper. You're
going to get hate tranny letters about that.
Yeah,
you can get it in Quebec and Canada.
You can get it in Quebec and Canada. You can get it in the rest of Canada.
I wasn't bitching.
But it's always been this nice little thing. I've known a couple of people who have worked for the Metro, and for people who aren't news hounds, who are constantly on top of like sources even after they've retired, it's a sickness that we can't help ourselves from. We just where information comes from and you get it.
Mm-hmm.
But for other people, the Metro was a great way of first thing in the morning catching up with what the hell is going on. What happened?
The Metro always gave a good gloss, I found.
Yeah, never in depth, but a good gloss.
Yeah, people who don't read the Metro and people who don't listen to the Sieb on the radio in the car kind of thing.
Yeah,
often just are really tuned out. Not a lot of idea what's going on.
Yeah,
not just in the big picture stories. I think you get with slants and things. Don't let the refreshments distract you, audience. No, but the local stuff, the provincial stuff, I think you get a basic gloss of that from
the
Metro.
And to get I've always thought of it as if you end your night watching one of the late night shows, like The Late Show or whatever,
mm-hmm.
and it's your comedic take that tells you what's going on. This is how you start the day that would end with that, because
mm-hmm.
it gives you a factual, matter of fact, just basic idea. And almost every time, if a story appeared in the Metro, it was so mainstream, it would appear later in commentary on one of those, like The Tonight Show. Mm-hmm. It's like a setup. It's
mm-hmm.
here's your serious and here's your critique of it. Mm-hmm. Here's your basic information. Here's the joke that you will now understand.
Which isn't, that sounds like a massive criticism, but it's not.
It's not at all. It's more like the place it has in mainstream of making certain pieces of information mainstream.
Well, I think it's true, exactly, because I think a lot of people, I don't want to say that a lot of people read the Metro and then that's what they give it for the day, and then they watch comedy shows late at night, and that's it.
Hopefully they.
No, I think a lot of people would read the Metro, and then that would be what they talk about that day, and they would learn more of, and then that's what people.
Water cooler.
It's not just water cooler anymore. It's you're sitting on the bus on your phone, and you're like, oh, what's going on in the world? Okay, maybe what was that thing? I think people. I think it serves enough natural curiosity up without having a lot of built-in institutional reputational nonsense the Herald or something.
Yeah, and it took
that people can't be bothered with.
Well, exactly.
A lot of people.
Exactly, and it took 10 to 15 minutes to read cover to cover.
Oh yeah.
Which was great for commute, unless of course you were stuck in traffic and oh my God, kill us all. But it's funny that you say, well, look at your phone.
It's nobody's fault you had to take the Bedford Highway but you.
Yeah, I know, that was my bad. But it has been recently purchased by the Toronto Star and completely rebranded and redone. And
is it smaller?
It's smaller. It's physically smaller. They have changed the dimensions of it. It is thinner.
It's hard to tell. If anyone listening is going, how does he not know if it's smaller? It's because the very middle of it is not smaller. The very middle of it, the very center fold, is the only page in the whole thing that is the height of a like tabloid style newspaper that I would want to read on the go.
They've removed an eighth of the paper mass so that they can save an eighth on average of the cost of it.
They've lost so much more than an eighth of my respect, though.
Yes, well, you know.
And then you open the. Can you open the centerfold?
Yeah, so we open the centerfold.
You can't see it, but you'll hear our disdain. Man, the centerfold is just the biggest ad. And remember, the centerfold is taller than the rest of the newspaper. So suddenly it just expands to the height of the newspaper you actually wish you were reading. Because it feels like a real newspaper, or at least a real commute paper.
It looks like it was made in PowerPoint.
And it's an ad. It's I don't even want to talk about what ad it is. Because it's just a local ad.
Yeah, it shouldn't be an ad. It should oh God, and I turn the page and there's Wayne goddamn Gretzky slinging a $10 blade.
This is nice that you got to the back so quickly because it's so short.
Yes,
because
it only took 2 turns.
Exactly, because now we did skip over Chantal Hébert, and if there's anything worth opening in this country to read, it's Chantal Hébert's column, wherever you want to find it. So that makes me happy. That I'm okay with.
Oh yeah, she does.
If more people on the bus in this town end up reading Chantal Hébert, I'm cool with that.
Why is it called Big Opinions when it only has one opinion? There's only one opinion.
Do you not think your opinion is bigger than certain other people's opinions?
But it's still a singular opinion.
I feel like everything nice I said about the Metro and just suddenly got thrown out the window with that last comment.
Oh, I see. Maybe it refers to these 3 on the side.
I don't know. They're so small I can't even see their names.
The columnists everyone is talking about right now on thestar.com.
This is it. It's at the front too.
Problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Brent, who takes the bus a lot, and generally would read the Metro, I think, to start most days.
Yeah.
Okay, now I feel like I've insulted my husband, and insults the Metro by saying that. But this is after watching the morning news.
To be fair, he can hear you, so if he wants to say
this is why exactly. It's I'm not trying to earn brownie points later when he listens. I know he doesn't listen. He's listening now. No, but he saw this and he brought it home because at the front and at the back there are little snippets of columns, and then, for example, for more on the story, visit thestar.com. And Brent is a very Scottish person, and he's the kind of person that if he takes the time to pick up a product, even if it's a free product, like the former Metro, now the Star Halifax, the Star or something?
The Star Metro
Halifax. Metro, that's convoluted. The Star Metro Halifax. He wants it to be a complete product, thank you please. And telling people to visit thestar.com to read more is exactly what I said most readers were doing anyway with the Metro. Like, with an intermediary step of talking about it with people. And now they've made it slightly more direct, and everyone is, and I still think with good reason, kind of furious with it. There's very little in there as it is.
This story that has a headline, Police Make Arrest in FOI, Freedom of Information Web Breach, which is a major issue in Halifax because the provincial government ignores freedom of information requests and routinely destroys information.
Did you hear the latest on this? For being a, what is this? What is the dimensions of this? 1.5 inches by 2 inches tops?
Yeah. Oh,
no, because that's including the headline.
I'm bringing this to attention because I counted.
This is going to be a very big story. I counted the
amount of words.
Oh, good.
This is 44 words on an incredibly important story.
No, I'm going to read these off. Well, we've already credited the Star, whatever, Halifax Metro things enough, so that's fine.
44 words.
Privacy. Police make arrest in FOI web breach. Keith Doucette, the Canadian Press. Halifax police have charged a 19-year-old Halifax man following a breach of Nova Scotia's Freedom of Information web portal. A problem that went unnoticed until an employee made a typing error. Interesting. Government officials confirmed about 7,000 documents were accessed, said Minister Patricia Arab. For more on the story, visit thestar.com. First of all, no. Because I'm already reading this. And,
why should I then have to whip
second
up my
of all,
phone?
Apparently, according to my commute version of this eve, on the way home, the latest is that I guess web developers or web experts are pissed off that anyone's been charged with accessing this, because he basically just walked through a door that was accidentally left unlocked on the website.
Yeah.
So, excuse me, how many documents? 7,000 documents were accessed, said Minister Patricia Arab. Minister Patricia Arab, what the hell?
Yeah. Why are you leaving our important documents available to be accessed by
Unlocked on the internet, thank you. And then, more importantly,
Yeah.
Why on earth is someone being charged for walking through that door? If you left the door open, you should be charged.
Yes, absolutely.
Not the person who walked
your
through.
responsibility, not theirs. Especially if it's already not clear that it's an illegal act, because you shouldn't be able to get into that.
We're getting worked up over this off some basic information.
Yes, we
off
know
the latest
some stuff,
basic information.
but we know the way that this actually works.
But seriously, if this is the way that this pans out, that's.
But speaking of...
If our provincial government was capable of embarrassment, they would and should be extremely embarrassed if that's how it turns out. But again, it's a big if that's how it turns out as well. This is just the latest today. But but if that does end up being confirmed as true, that it was essentially someone walking through a door that was left open, are you really going to... What is that? Are you charging someone for being curious, for Christ's sake?
Well, there's the thing.
You're charging someone for basic human nature? You left the door open.
It falls apart in Canadian court because in Canadian court we have this really important concept called mens rea, in which you can't unless it involves literally harming someone, you can't break the law if you don't know that you're breaking the fucking law. If you were like, I walked through a door, I had no idea. If it turns out this 19-year-old
already had made plans to sell said information,
then
fuck said 19-year-old. And why are we calling him said 19-year-old? Fuck that guy by name if that's the thing.
Yeah.
But if that's not the thing, and if you're not releasing his name yet because you're not sure a charge will stick, because as it turns out it was an open door policy.
And that's the thing. When we were working, if someone had said there's an exploit, we would have copied that whole database. Would have just marched right in there and stole the whole thing.
Allegedly. Maybe.
No, I would have. That's mine now, and I'm going to come at all of you.
That's a good future segment.
There we go.
Oh,
but,
man.
Another thing to add about the way that they have stripped this down.
It's the only way to describe that.
Yeah.
It is really a bare bones. Like, do they not know how slow transit is in this town? This is not enough to, satiate your curiosity on a bus ride. There's not Wi-Fi on our buses. How am I supposed to go to thestar.com?
But on top of that, the Metro, whenever they left a story and it was like, there is more to this, we just didn't have the room to print it, they would always have the QR code. There would always be a QR code so that you can take a photo and your camera phone, smartphone, what have you, immediately goes there. You don't have to do anything. There are 3 QR codes in this entire thing. One is for Chantal Hubert because she makes the big money.
I'm not going to defend QR codes. They're the ugliest things I've ever seen.
Oh, they're horrible, but they're great for accessing. Another is on an ad for hitmaker Rick Ashley. He'll never give you up. He'll never let you down. And another on the sports page, which is actually a photo of a baseball player. And that's it. They used to even have a sports section that I never read, but I knew it was
Did you never read the sports section? I never read the sports section. I always skipped and kind of resented the sports section because, wow. You're going to critique our local purveyor of cuisine because of greeting every customer with baby and then give me that?
Oh, God.
Amazing. But I used to get frustrated with the sports section because it wasn't something I read. And yet the Metro was so small. And now it's even smaller. So at least they've, done the right thing and made the sports section even smaller by making it not exist, essentially.
They've given more room
They've kept sponsored content, which, you know what? Yeah. As someone with bills to pay, I ain't going to critique sponsored content. But they've also kept the horoscope. And as someone with bills to pay, I will never write no fucking horoscope. Horoscopes.
Way back when I was in my first degree university, I was editor of the distractions page. And I wanted to fill it with a bunch of crazy fiction and random in-jokes and meta stuff. And they were just no, just put Sudoku and horoscopes on it. And it's I'm going to fucking kill myself.
Horoscopes are what people want, man.
I think I actually published one horoscope. I know they changed it because my editor had... Anyway, I know they changed it, but I actually sent in a horoscope once that every horoscope was, you're going to die today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I hate horoscopes.
I had to frame that.
Yeah.
I read horoscopes very often and hate them. I really think... I think horoscopes are something fun to read on a menu as you're waiting for your Chinese food. That's great.
Yeah, they're great.
I like to read
vehicles for comedy when you have an idea or you're bored.
Okay. There are certain circumstances where certain people mainly the hosts of this show, and hopefully a lot of people listening to it, need to fucking read something. Like, just to pass the time. God, the worst punishment in the world pre-internet was when you went to someone's house and they didn't have even, like, a Reader's Digest or an Andy Cap in the bathroom. Life was terrible.
Oof.
But now the internet has become our Reader's Digest Andy Cap.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't need Reader's Digest. We have...
But the Metro is no longer a
BuzzFeed.
Reader's Digest handicap because all we get is a little snippet and then it tells us to go to thestar.com.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe Ancillary doesn't have Wi-Fi, so we're stuck on...
Oh my
There's
God.
nothing. There's nothing. There's only what you've given us, and it's a tiny snippet.
So it's rather disappointing to see that at a time when...
Of course I'm going to make it fecal because it's the front cover. The front cover is contamination, and it's all about fucking sewage outlet, as if that is a new story in this town.
Oh God! In a town in which
I'm not saying it's irrelevant, but come on.
Yeah, a mayor waded into that, swam across to Dartmouth, or at least like swam in it for a while. I can't remember. Came out, and over the next 3 years, started to physically look like a zombie. The man was poisoned by his own harbor water that he was sent into by his flax to prove that it wasn't dangerous.
Look at Alex Jones. You're making a lot of causal links that just happen to look good on paper, in photos. Video evidence doesn't hurt. Subsequent actions don't really discount the story. But
his own
but it's old hat.
Slip into,
it's old hat.
You know,
call the SPCA.
Oh,
They're beating that horse. Just
I know.
No. I'm over it. I'm over this whole segment. I'm over local news.
It's just too easy. So
I'm done with it.
Yeah, we're done with it.
Wait, no,
done with you.
No, brief mention that the Senate is stupid.
Oh yes, the Senate is stupid because weed.
Honest to God, just please, any listener, just pick a Canadian senator. Write them a brief letter that just says, "Dear Mr. or Miss Senator, re-weed, please stop what you're doing."
They really
sincerely,
don't get this whole...
someone who is just sick of you existing.
Well, they more or less are just they're an expensive weight on Canadians. They're unelected, we should point out, and that is not cool in a country that already demands that we put some random English tart on our cash.
Oh,
so
I didn't know we were on the same page, Rhea Elizabeth.
Oh,
I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't say no. Elizabeth herself she's whatever. I'm gonna take that middle ground.
As a person, she's fantastic.
Yep.
She seems to be really dedicated to what she does.
But monarchies are monstrous institutions when you're going to pretend in the rest of your daily governmental life that all men and women are created equal.
Yes.
Sorry. All men are women are created equal.
Except for this
one
one
you have
person
to make an oath to this
who is
one,
ordained
who
by
is born into it and ordained by God, and also lives abroad.
Yeah. In a
country that I don't believe
palaces.
Represents all of our peoples entirely.
No,
mainly because there's not one, but also it's definitely not that one.
It's a rather problematic country.
Someone's gonna write and be like, "If it's definitely not England, what country does represent Canada?" And
the Elgin Marbles.
Beautiful but stolen. Mostly white.
It's the perfect representation of England.
I thought you meant Canada.
Both.
Oh wow.
I mean, we are talking about a German family.
Oh God. All right, moving on from the Germans. Let's move
Germany
let's move south from here
to a rather fascist place.
You were distinctly more fascistly inclined place lately.
Yeah, we're gonna skip the intro just because it was a bitch to edit last time. So
I thought it was because it was such a beautiful segue.
That as well. We are now in the American segment, and so
that was the quickest pass through the border I've ever had.
No, I had a faster one years ago during the what was that? The last Bush years, Bush 2. My cousin and we got bored in Montreal. Mm-hmm. And we decided to drive to Boston. Well, we got bored in the area outside Montreal.
Doable.
Yeah. So we decided to drive to Boston without passports, without telling anyone. It was a good day trip, but this was literally at a time when, and in a specific part of like nowhere, Vermont meets Quebec, where you can drive up to the border. They go, "Oh, hey, how's it going?"
Yeah.
And you go, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" back to them.
Mm-hmm.
And you just wave on through, and hours later, without even telling them what the fuck you were doing or anything, you just come back and go, "Oh, it's you again. Oh, welcome back. Okay, thank you."
That's pretty great, actually.
Yeah.
The fastest trip through customs I ever had was into Korea. I was with my sister, who was having some Crohn's intestinal times at the time. Yeah. And so she had all these like vitamins and supplements and complicated things to keep her digesting Asian food.
Oh, God.
On this trip from Japan into Korea.
At least there's no lactose over there.
Oh, no, it was great. Their cheese is fucking terrible.
I would imagine.
Fucking terrible. Oh, my God.
There's no cheese in Asian cooking.
You had to go to, like, Burger King for good cheese. That kind of bad.
Oh, my God.
But this trip through customs, they opened her bag, and it was just, like, a plethora of, like, pills that don't look like bad pills. They look like hippie pills, and, like, all those, you know, not hippie weed, but hippie, like...
But, like, fun pills.
You know, like, oh, and, like, yeah, all kinds of just nonsense. Just, not nonsense, like, some half nonsense.
Yeah.
Oh, half definite nonsense.
Important
half
pharmaceuticals,
helpful.
Not narcotics.
But the only
Mr.
one I
Border
knew for
officer.
sure was in there was vitamin C, and so they're looking at all this, and the only one I knew for sure that I'd seen in the pharmacy a lot that I could say in, like, Konglishy Korean was vitamin C, and so this customs guy is looking at it, just aghast. And I said, vitamin C, and he's just like...
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep, that was welcome to Korea.
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C.
If I can put down vitamin C on a report, then just get the
Vitamin
fuck
C.
out of my way.
A mobile pharmacy thereof.
Oh my.
But
gosh.
back to much less democratic land, America.
Yeah. So what do we have this week for
It's
America?
democratic in the sense that they elected all these people who won't be running again.
Well, that's the
30,
thing.
33 now?
33, including one really rather large name. The Speaker of the House, namely...
I just know him as a teen beat heartthrob.
Oh, God, yeah. I just know him as an objectivist shithole.
Show us those guns. Tell us how much you want to disenfranchise everybody.
Ayn Rand.
I can't work out to things that make me nauseous. I just can't.
What, you don't hold up the incredible weighty tome that is Atlas Shrugged and just do lifts to your face and read a paragraph of elongated nonsense about how the world is owed to you and you alone, and then going in for another. Oh, I'm going to kill all these orphans because they're trying to steal my creativity.
And just nope. Like the farthest thing from that possible. Next time I work out, I'm going to watch reruns of the Deanie Petty show. That's where my brain needs to go after that. Just nope.
I work out to episodes of Star Trek because I know that they're 43 minutes long, and that's a great time for it.
I watch Deep Space Nine to everything.
Yeah.
Well, not like, you know, there are no mating rituals, shall we say.
You're just going at it, and you can hear Avery Brooks in the back. It's not good enough!
No.
You have to try harder!
If certain other people involved had their way, it would be TNG for sure, but...
Make it so.
Make it so repeatedly.
Make it so.
Oh. Make it so not America. What on earth is going on down there? So, okay. I feel like we've entered, for the first time, kind of a post-Nixon phase where it's all of us that, like, really were paying attention and really weren't. We're just super skeptical because we're watching from way outside on the far sidelines here.
Yeah.
It's finally entered that phase where we kind of knew it was somehow worse than Nixon, or it feels like it.
Yeah. Oh no, it's worse than Nixon.
Oh yeah, but now it's actually entered that part where like anyone watching has to be like, I don't remember Nixon's personal lawyer of 37 years getting his like place of business and 2 domiciles essentially like no-knock warrant searched.
Do you know what the funny thing is?
I don't remember. Like we didn't even draw that line at porn stars, and like Richard Nixon, who founded the EPA.
Mm-hmm.
If we really want to get into the differences.
Yeah, and then Pruitt. Yeah.
Man,
oh, have you heard about security
let's get back
concerns?
to bathroom reading for a second. I have Doonesbury's Greatest Collection on my bathroom bookshelf in case the internet goes down.
Yeah.
I am not a fan of Nixon, just by my upraising with that particular graphic novel-esque thing. But, holy crap. Nope. Started the EPA to this.
Yeah, to Pruitt, to its primary use now apparently being to not only take to not only take apart the EPA itself, but to protect Pruitt with waste of money, entire security teams as if he was the president.
It's because they think that there's these. Who was that? Was it the Weathermen?
Yeah, the Weathermen.
They think
Underground.
they think eco-terrorists are a big thing.
Yeah, with the eco-terrorism
as opposed to their supporters,
who actually murder people and blow shit up in Texas. They blow people up, and it's like...
Was that guy confirmed to be a Trumpian?
Yep. He's a white supremacist. He's dead now because he blew himself up.
I feel like I lost the whole tagline of that story. I feel like...
That asshole committed suicide.
Yeah, that's not surprising. I feel like all of a sudden bombs stopped going off, and I was just like, well, you know what? America has been in such shambles lately, I haven't even been paying attention to the suburban bombs going off.
Yeah.
Is it Austin?
Austin. And there was a serial
there's enough other stuff going on in America.
It's hardly a blip.
This is from somebody who is on a podcast talking about all the news they follow.
Yeah.
I can't.
That's how ridiculous it is.
You're such a fucking mess.
Does this have to do with the porn star? Or does this have to do with the Russian treason thing? Does this have to do with possibly selling out to a cabal of investors
Does this have to do
Qatar?
with running always as a fiscal conservative who's a total budget hawk, who can't stand reckless spending, who then signs off on a tax cut and a crazy budget that ends up completely fucking bankrupting the nation, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then says, you know what? I just can't be involved in dealing with this. Nigel Farage style. Now that I've won, good day.
And like Farage, he'll probably just immediately transition into making appearances on TV. And God, do I ever want someone to just brick Farage upside the head. He is the
main difference is that I wouldn't watch either
terror.
one of them on Fox News.
Yeah.
I would absolutely watch one of them in pornographic content.
It's not Nigel.
Nigel Farage, you just do it for me. So right, man.
Nigel. Oh, Nigel.
Gross. 33.
Yeah. That's an incredible number. That
I understand how some levels of Republicans square what's happening. What's her name there on The Gaggle, that show where they never stop cross-talking?
Oh, yeah.
McCain's daughter.
Yeah.
She was all up in defending Paul Ryan. Noble, whatever, pragmatic,
They'll
conservatism,
always defend each
blah,
other,
blah, blah.
though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know, but she's she won't at least defend Trump directly. She's quite...
But she won't acknowledge it publicly that she won't do it.
And she's definitely quite critical of Trump.
Oh,
openly.
really?
Oh, on the show,
I did not hear that.
Oh, I don't think she's ever been on that train. I think Trump went aboard her father, and she was just like, "Hey, regardless of how you feel about my politics, I am I'm on a talk show, and I'm a conservative daughter. Hi." Yeah, no, it did not go well for Trump in the end of that.
Well, I wish her father would actually do something to make it clear that he as well disagrees with them.
Everybody knows words mean way more than actions. What are you talking about? Can't have that.
Can't have him actually do something.
But then if you're gonna get off actions and back down to words, even with words, she was just defending Paul Ryan like crazy, and I just kept thinking, this is someone who wants to end basically all support for everyone.
Yeah,
draw your lines if you must, but it's the vast majority of support for the vast majority. Yeah. That's not what you should be ending.
And if I recall,
leaves right after signing on to all of these insane tax cuts and just budgetary insanity.
And his annual pension will be, if I recall, $74,000 to $79,000 a year.
He already married into money. What's he need it for?
Yeah, exactly. But he's not saying no out of principle or reason. He's not saying no at all. He's going to take that money, even though his own belief system says that's immoral.
I don't want to call Paul Ryan a whore because I don't want to malign whores. but he's not going to ever say no if you're offering him a lot of money.
Yeah, Paul Ryan's not a whore. He's a scumsucker.
I have a lot more respect for your average sex worker than I do for Paul Ryan.
I have a lot of respect for sex workers. Those people are like...
Well, yeah, just in general, I have a lot more respect for most sex workers than I do for pretty much any member of Congress. The majority of the Canadian Senate.
Yeah.
I'm okay with Parliament.
At least
for better or for worse, we elected them there, so they're our fault.
Really work your ass off to get people like you.
But that's telling about America and Canada these days. It's like, I won't malign Parliament at large because I don't think they deserve it. But I will malign, I would say, the majority of Congress right now.
Because they're
clearly just standing for things that are utterly unsupportable.
Exactly. Their system is actually failing in the Roman concept of someone...
Well, we don't know if the system is failing yet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. This is Marius and Sulla shit. This shit played out 2,000 years ago really clearly and dangerously close.
So what is the end game then in your analogy?
The end game isn't that Trump will come to power. It's not Trump. It's that he's going to change things enough that some really dangerous motherfucker
he's going to make this acceptable.
Yeah, and then that person will roll into power and it'll be accepted without the outcry. He'll be able to take the steps past the executive powers that exist right now, and that person will start if they don't themselves start a chain towards totalitarianism, they will become the first totalitarian leader. And here's the weird thing about totalitarianism: it's not necessarily the despots and like Stalin's and whatnot. It's your Julius Caesar and your Augustas, both of who took power and gained power by actually being really quite likable. But because the system had decayed so much, the power that was given to them was absolute.
I kind of feel like there's very little optimism in terms of us being dead by the time this happens.
Oh, God, no. We're talking 16 years, 22 years.
Well, not to cross analogies too much then, but living in, let's say the Austria too.
Yes.
America's elsewhere.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, that doesn't bode super well.
Yeah, and that is a thing that also typically happens. Is
expansion
follows.
We love you, Mexico. But
now, on the upside, technically, we already are, because of NORAD, we're already linked with them defensively. So it's far more likely that what we'll see is a...
Quislings?
No, they're going to invade South America. There's going to be like the Americas, and Canada will technically be sovereign, but that's kind of the outcome if America holds together and they continue down that path and militarization. They're going to eventually need to express themselves.
See, I still have a little more hope for Americans.
I certainly hope so. But this is like hard game theory hypothesizing of like, where does this outcome turn in terms of like...
What's the point though? What do they need that's in like, further south?
Mostly workforce.
Because I think if anything's attractive, unfortunately, it's us and our abundant water. And
no. That's it is, but it takes a lot of resource management because of our sheer geographic space. Mm-hmm. It's a lot easier. Also, our connections to other countries who have large militaries.
We'd also be super feisty and rebellious, and a lot of the world would be genuinely pissed off on our behalf. So,
yeah. Whereas if you invade down south, you're going to run into fewer complications with large militaries.
Oh, not only that, but even my reaction was relief, and I'm like, that's bad. That shouldn't be. It should be outrage at goodbye Mexico. Like,
yeah, but that's the truth. They would end up essentially propping up their commodity culture by turning everything below the Mexican border into a processing plant.
I don't think so. I hope not. But
you hope not. But that's
consider
like
the bubble
outcome.
If we don't abandon, if we can manage to hold on to democracy, which there is a lot of concern about people not seemingly being able to hold on to democracy in a lot of places right now.
Well,
but if America can manage to hold on to democracy,
yeah,
the next voting wave coming up is going to be unbelievably reactionary.
Yeah.
Against all of this.
And that seems to be what's behind this 33 to 34 abandonings by the Republican Party.
Well, yeah.
Because it's like, I'm not putting... One, it's very expensive personally to run for politics in America, let alone in Canada. But
let alone when you know you're going to lose.
Yeah, so why would you put yourself up? These are people who won't even talk to their constituencies in town halls in their own held.
And some of these people want to run for higher office down the road when the pendulum inevitably swings back again. It's always inevitably swung back again. But you know what? The Republican Party is endangering itself so much. I wonder. It's not as if parties are eternal.
No, but it's almost like Americans have forgotten that they can have another one. It's not helped by the fact that you have, when there are other parties, it's led by, like more or less people that you can look at and be like, you're kind of right, but you're also kind of crazy, like Ralph Nader and Bernie Sanders.
I think the much more necessary thing has to happen is to have one of the main parties split into, like, remnant still calling itself Republican but inevitably stained by Trump.
Yeah.
And then say, like, conservative, the one that says, you know what, we just finally fucking couldn't.
Yeah.
But we're still conservative, whether you like that or not.
It'd be interesting to actually see a real conservative for once. It's been a long time. For instance, the other day, what was it? It was either Michelle Rempel or Lisa Raitt were complaining that, and this is a big thing, the Trans Mountain pipeline kind of like crapped out. And
that really should have dominated segment 1.
Oh, it really should have, but I'm so sick of it.
I'm so sick of it, and also, like, it's not fully settled yet.
Yes.
It probably will be very soon, so that will probably be a thing next week.
But the entire Conservative Party is now demanding that the state take action to the point that they nationalize oil. And it's like, oh my god, we found the line where they'll finally throw Thatcher into the fucking, like, sewer. And it's if you take away their oil enough, they'll say, okay, we agree with socialism, just give us our fucking oil.
You know what, the reason I don't mind when things like that happen is because in future debates and elections, we'll be able to look back at the Conservatives and be like, but you were cool with it in this instance, what changed?
Yes, but you can do that with literally everything a conservative believes, and it never changes them.
I think that's painting with too broad of a brush. I think it's not wildly untrue.
Oh, you can do it with every politician, but you can especially do it with conservatives.
You can, and that's the ultimate sadness, is that it's all just team sports. And like, really, it's bad on both sides, but what is it? It always seems to be worse on the conservative side.
Yeah, that's a liberal will usually go, you got us, and maybe change something so long as you keep that fire on them. An NDP will have no idea what to do. It's like chit, 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 and you walk away while they're trying to figure out how they got caught. But a Tory will lie and then lie about lying and then lie about lying about lying and then call the sky purple and you a duck.
I feel like this sort of dissection of local political teams in the America segment is just wildly inappropriate and educational at the same time. I hope so, anyway. I really do.
Well, no, it applies as well to the Democrats. Al Franken was wrong. He went, you got me, and left after pressure. The Republicans will not do anything.
How much longer do you think he's in the wilderness for?
Not very long. He'll be back by the next election. Mm-hmm. Especially since he didn't do much relative to other things. He was
that was
inappropriate.
a safe opening of that can.
Thank you. He was very inappropriate. He wasn't as inappropriate. That's a weird,
that's a line we're going to have to learn more and more to take.
Yeah.
For better or for worse, if we keep expecting politicians to have never been inappropriate.
Because
we are going to elect the most bland, unimaginative people. And I'm not saying, hey, it's better to be imaginative and inappropriate.
Yeah.
But if you expect perfection, you're only going to elect liars or one saint a century. Yeah.
And Paul, you don't get into politics unless you are a little evil. That's just a baseline thing. Even good people in politics have to do horrible things.
Evil is a bit much.
Oh no, I can draw direct lines for that. as you say, Nixon created the EPA. Nixon was an evil person. He actually hated.
Yes, but
many
now you're equating Nixon
No.
with the average politician.
I am, because there is absolutely, you don't put up with that much stuff. You don't put up with all of that effort that has to go into it, and you don't gamble so much if you are not a person who is willing to take risks at others' expense and at your own self-aggrandization. There's a power structure within their own ego that goes into it.
Yes, I can see that on different scales. Actually.
Way Mason.
Oh, are you gonna by name people?
Yep.
I'm not. I'm just not into that. Nope. No. And also no to evil. Like, just self-interested.
I'm not saying
self-interested.
Evil is necessary sometimes.
Yes. Self-interested politicians by nature are definitely self-interested. People who aren't self-interested, people who aren't self-interested don't exist. And second of all, in the way most people are probably thinking about that, like, as a larger facet of their personality, people who don't have a forefront self-interested personality generally don't go into careers where their name ends up on signs and banners very often, and they get to stand in front of people and receive wild applause. Yeah. That's just a thing. But in terms of any named politicians or anything, no.
That's why I will name them. You will not.
And also not evil. Just
no. Evil. You have to. That's an immediate reaction to the word evil, and
because I think if you're going to say all politicians are evil, this really went on a tangent. Wow. This is kind of streamlined into segment 3, so let's just do it. Let's just commit to this.
Why not?
This is a discussion of what we think of politics and politicians as people who have covered both, essentially.
And yet, yes, I do mean evil.
Hey, America, welcome to segment 3.
But in the sense that it's like sometimes you have to have a necessary evil. Sometimes you have to bomb Dresden. That is an evil act. But what was it doing? It was stopping Nazi manufacturing.
Sometimes now we're getting very philosophical then. Is it evil then if it's preventing
Of course it's philosophical.
Well, yes, exactly, but... All right.
Evil's necessary.
But if we're going to say that all politicians are capable of evil under the right circumstances, then all we're essentially saying is all humans are capable of evil under such
But the difference is that not all humans choose to grab the brass ring. And this is an interesting thing that only came about really since the Enlightenment in Western civilization. You know, with in Rome, you used to have people who did this, and it was really very much considered a necessary part of your world. For instance, if you were of a class in Rome that was allowed to run for political office, it was expected that you would spend decades in the army. Mm-hmm. Because you had to learn to take necessary actions, which at that time meant skewer someone in the face yourself. You had to learn that evil is a necessary form of political act. Now, there are rules to say don't be too evil.
Well, I think we're defining evil differently, because I don't think stabbing someone in the face has to be evil 100% of the time, which is quite a thing to take out of context.
You don't think that the Roman invasion
which is such a fun thing to take out of context. You know, stabbing someone in the face because they're about to stab your child in the face. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah, but we're not
stabbing someone in the face
talking expansion
because they're a child and you just love stabbing children in the face.
We're talking about salting Carthage. Because
I love that as a dramatic act. Yeah. God.
Love it.
Okay, okay.
But
we're talking about...
No, as you're saying, it is a relative because Carthage was a threat.
All right,
but they salted it.
But. Let's move off our philosophical... all men are created evil, and women... and men who become women. We're all evil together. We're all in this evil together.
That sounds like a great album name. All men are created evil.
Copyright fucking that. That's a great, yeah. God, I wish I didn't hate metal so much. Blame that on growing up next door to it. And I'm not talking neighbors, I'm talking teen angsty siblings.
You gotta watch Metalocalypse so that you can laugh at it instead.
What's the documentary where it's like basically all of the glam rockers actually were gay? what is that? Not all of them, but like a lot of them were.
I don't know.
They're like,
that
we're
one.
sending this up, but there's still a ton of us that actually were.
I don't know. What do you mean?
Oh, God knows what I mean. I feel like I'm overselling it, but
Okay.
let's detangent.
Yes, detangent.
I like the dramatic acts as a start off point to bring the political conversation more local to the ones we've covered and known, and just the general political acts writ large that we've covered.
Yeah.
Where's the drama, Mama?
Where's the drama?
Where's the conflama?
Where's the conflama?
Conflama.
It's true. Local drama.
That's conflict
is usually...
and drama for you straight plebs out there.
But yeah, true. Usually local stuff is a little more on the tone of like, oh, you were taken. The photo was taken with you standing next or sitting on someone's lap who's in blackface. Or video of you doing a Chinese fire drill in which you scream Chinese fire drill, Mr. Elected Person.
Fuck's a Chinese fire drill?
That's when you exit a car, like everyone runs out of the car and then runs back into like different entrances of it.
Why is that offensive? Is that just dumb?
Cause yeah, the idea of the Chinese are so dumb that if a fire drill went off, they go out one door and in the other.
That's a big read into that.
I think it goes like back 100-something years to probably a factory fire.
Is this like Chinese telephone and how Chinese people apparently don't understand each other if they call over long distances?
No, I think this probably definitely comes from like a specific event.
So I can still play Chinese telephone?
I've never heard it called that.
Stop it.
What? The telephone game.
Stop it.
I've never heard it called Chinese. I've heard it called mummers, mimmers. I've heard it called mumbles. I've heard it called another, like, race thing, like some other person's telephone. I can't remember which, but never Chinese.
Estonian telephone.
He's joke because no telephone.
Someday we'll get a letter to Hey Tranny from our one Estonian listener, and I'll be so happy. I'll be so happy. I'll be mad it wasn't addressed to me, but I will understand, and I'll be so happy. That's hilarious. I've only ever known it as that. I'm trying to think. Most of our drama is like self-created, just pure bullshit nonsense. But the one bit of drama mama that I always appreciate was the really ruckus demonstrations outside of Province House during sittings.
Oh my God, those protesters truly, like, I'm not disagreeing with them because there were many and there's too many to like get into the details of, and of course I'm not disagreeing with their right to it, but they thought it was the 60s all over again and they went full hog.
Nope, see, disregard all the protesters entirely because nobody cares about them, they're just making noise.
No, that's true.
That'll get me a letter.
But it's true. Everyone downtown was just like, get out of my fucking way.
Also that, but also because the important part is how the politicos' different stripes would react to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, the governing party here locally would, of course, ignore them. Yeah. As any governing party, but particularly the Liberals in this instance seems to do.
Well, it's especially easy to do when you're literally not there.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Stephen McNeil tends to not be.
No, exactly. And I never really saw the Conservatives do much.
No.
Like, I never really saw the Tories interact with protesters, mainly because Tories don't know how.
They know not to talk to those people because it never turns out well for
them. They know that no matter how sympathetic they are to their cause, which often ends at, well, you're against the current government, so we're happy with you.
Yeah.
Beyond that, you know.
Don't ask for details.
Now, political team differences seem to rear their ugly heads again, but so yeah, they tend to avoid them like the plague. But to see the NDP, especially the more dramatic NDP, engage with protesters on the steps of Province House is just the most delightful thing.
It's like revelations.
Oh man, and it's great. And then it's funny because someone walking by, generally a business person in a hurry, annoyed at the block in the street, will tell someone, "No one's paying the fuck attention to you," and they'll interrupt themselves from aggressively applauding whatever NDP plaudits are being offered from the steps.
Constantly applauding.
To say, what the fuck you talking about? I'm here supporting a serious thing, which is hilarious because they are.
Yeah.
To start it off, they are supporting a serious thing.
Yeah.
But then they've also willingly been co-opted by the NDP.
Yeah.
Which is not in power. and very rarely is.
Yeah, has been once, and
They're the protest party.
For some reason, then gave away $350 million to an arms dealer.
And it works every time. So the people from the NDP that I see stand outside on the steps and engage always successfully with protesters. It's just it's delighting and also incredibly frustrating. And I just wish everybody who goes to protest at Province House or any house of government would stand outside and say, you know what? Everything has been going wrong long enough that I don't trust any of you to fix this.
Yeah.
So fuck all of you. I'm going to stand out here and I'm going to make some goddamn noise until all of you say, oh wait, team sports aside.
Yeah.
We're actually going to try to fix one goddamn thing.
Yeah.
One goddamn thing and then we'll go home.
Yeah, just do this one
thing. I don't stand up there. Are you kidding me? I'm not going to get cold to clap at Lenore's on. If I'm going to clap at Lenore's on, I'll watch Lex. It's fine.
Right?
Was she in Lex? She was in everything else.
No, well, she may have made an appearance. I'll watch X-Men, the animated series, till the end of times.
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah.
That'll do.
The funny thing is, I actually like a total tangent. I'm like watching, culture stuff on YouTube, and Americans love. They never know who she is. They love the voice of Rogue from the cartoons. They love it. Everyone's favorite character is Rogue, and it's just like she's 45 minutes down the road. She's an MLA.
I don't even pretend to not love Lenore Zahn.
Oh no, I think she should be the leader of the NDP.
I just don't.
Yeah.
She's hysterical.
She is.
Like a one-on-one conversation. I've had some good one-on-ones with some local politicians.
Some of them are true morons. Some of them don't know how to talk to people, and then you get Lenore Zahn.
You want someone who knows how to talk to someone.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She knows how to actually talk to you.
She's obviously great at working that protester crowd.
Yeah. She's a terrific performer, and I don't mean that in the way that I would insult other politicians with.
I don't think on the provincial scene you can insult terrific performers because they're so few and far between.
Yeah. There's
some legitimate fucking terrible performers on the front bench of the Liberal Party governing.
There is.
It's just sad. And
oh my God, it's just her. Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, I guess Jamie Bailey gave a great performance for a while. No one would have expected that to turn out as sexual harassment.
I think there's probably some good other performers, but I'm at a loss.
Well, there's the thing. I don't want to. There are some who are like good, but they're not good performers. Like Brendan McGuire, he's good.
Yeah,
a good performer.
No,
he's very honest. He's very honest.
Yeah.
But that's almost like his appeal. See, this is a true story, and it's not meant to be offensive to him because he completely acknowledges it. True story. When Brendan was young, he was abandoned at a local mall.
He's the Roxy Andrews of our local political.
Yeah,
scene.
He's just you just look at him and you go,
No, not at all. Because dude has like a young family now. And
no. It's not that his entire life everything.
No, I think chapter 1 is the awe chapter, which is obviously
and
helping him in politics, and that's not a bad thing.
He still has.
If he got lemons, make some fucking lemonade. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's still kind of approachable through that angle of like.
There's something about inherited politics that just pisses everyone off. You're just like, oh, you ran for office because Daddy ran for office. Fuck.
And we have a lot of that here.
We have a ton of that here. And we have like a very strong entrenched scene that was born into supporting that and supports that. But then the rest of us are just so deadly sick of it.
Because it's this hyper-regional, hyper-localized nonsense that you just want to be sick of. And
it's almost as if we once were, paid to indulge in supporting that kind of nonsense.
Right? Although, like...
well, not supporting actually, so much as exploiting.
But. Speaking of, like, good performers, though, a good performer can make you forget about some really crazy shit. Kelly Regan.
Oh, yeah?
Kelly Regan is a great performer. Her husband, who I've forgotten the name of, Jeff.
Speaker of the Canadian House of Commons, I believe.
Yeah, he's a great performer, but you completely forget that Regan's father was a rapist. An alleged rapist.
Is his dad Gerald?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
What?
Jerry
How did I
Regan.
not know that?
Jerry Regan, former governor, governor.
I guarantee you I did know
Nova
that about
Scotia.
3 glasses ago, but I forgot about that.
And
the best part is I
something of
remembered
Canada.
Nancy's.
Yeah, and I've interviewed Jerry, and like he's great to talk to, but the whole time you know what he did. Allegedly.
Yeah, that's it. That story's been covered. Again, you want to talk like severely abused horses, like covered a lot.
Yeah,
and yet not to anyone's satisfaction. I would argue.
no one's been satisfied by that.
That's some conflama.
Yeah, my God.
Yikes. You know what? I did forget that, and in a weird way, I'm glad I forgot that. First of all, like, as much as someone has an opportunity in life because their parents, as much as I just yelled about the local scene of being born into it, which I still disagree with, I also disagree as equally with, the whole sins of the father thing.
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah, that, like, it shouldn't carry over.
No.
But because of the way that it carry-overs otherwise with so many other aspects in this hyper-localized, hyper-regional thing, it's amazing that it hasn't. And it really does actually have to do more with how they present themselves separate than...
I think it has a lot to do with the fact that the culture here is absolutely incredible at compartmentalizing.
Yes, and that is an intentional compartmentalization.
I think
to
Maritimers
avoid dealing with
large are wonderful at compartmentalizing.
Yeah. You kind of have to be. It's one of those... Nature may kill you in various ways.
Our towns,
Places.
including this biggest one here that we live in, are so small.
Yeah.
We all eventually know each other's biz.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the media we critique in the show or not.
It will happen.
We all know each other's biz, and you can only hold everything against everyone for so long until you have to move to Montreal and be trendy.
Yeah. No,
That's
it's true.
all you can do.
Move to Montreal. Episode title. Move to Montreal. It's a great time to end it, too. We might end it close to an hour.
If there's anyone listening out there who's dissatisfied, I get it. I'm a little disappointed myself. I am. And it's not just because this is the second show we've recorded today, and this is probably hour 3.
Yeah.
But, no, this is... You know what? I feel like we should dedicate a whole episode to going on tangents now after this.
That'd be a
we shouldn't
great
record
way
it
of doing
today,
that,
but
yeah.
we should have one
That'd
of
be
those.
a great idea. Just like, okay, tangent. Purple grapes. Tangent. Eskimo pie. Tangent.
Pie. Tangent. Politicians we won't name by name, who I might agree with are evil.
Good
Thanks for
times.
listening.
Yes, thank you for listening. This has been the industry is doomed. I had to actually think for a moment. What the hell
It's only because you've been doomed by the industry.
I
Don't worry.
know, it's too true. I am Michaela Gorman.
Hi, I'm Blake Hunsley, and also bye.
I thought you were gay.
Oh. Damn it, bye is always making bye jokes. Damn it. Always got to be about you.
Thank you for listening. Please.
You want to hear about That's a Good Thing? Listen to our pop culture podcast and about how a poo is offensive.
Who needs a quickie mart?
I do.